Good day everyone, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology and I give predictions related to important transits for all the ascendant signs. In case you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon and keep yourself up to date with all the upcoming transit videos and Vedic astrology videos. If you wish to book a personalized consultation with me, you can check out the link to my website and the process of reaching out to me. This video is about one of the most important and prominent transits of the year 2024. The year 2024 is the year of Saturn, and this is about Saturn's upcoming retrograde transit that is happening on 30th of June, and Saturn is going to go retrograde till 15th of November. This year Saturn or Shani is retrograde for about 138 days. So in this video, the first few minutes I'd like to spend in terms of making you familiar with what retrograde really means, trying to keep this concept very simple for you. Then I'm going to go and talk about and give you some simple tips in terms of how you can read this transit, simple tips for your preparation, what could possibly happen as far as some of the effects are concerned between July through November as far as Saturn's retrograde transit is concerned, and what is that you have to take care of during this time. Saturn goes retrograde about 1/3 of its time. So therefore it means that every 1 out of 3 individuals have Saturn retrograde in their chart. So about 33% of the time Saturn is retrograde or Vakri. What does this retrogression really means? So it is a concept where the planet is appearing to be moving backwards. It is not actually moving backwards, but it is a state of condition where it appears to be moving in a backward direction. And this movement is also very slow compared to the direct transit that happens. So which means that over the next 138 days between 30th of June till 15th of November, Saturn is going to be extremely slow as far as the retrograde movement is concerned. Saturn is going to stay in the sign of Aquarius itself. Now in this phenomena, what happens is the planet is appearing to be more closer to the Earth. The proximity is much more closer, which makes it powerful, which makes it impactful, because this increases its Cheshta Bala, which is one of the important pillars of strength of a planet. So Saturn being a natural malefic, this time period it is going in a retrograde motion in its Mool Trikon sign, which is the office space of Saturn, that is Aquarius. So one important aspect that I'd like to give you about Saturn from a karmic standpoint is Saturn is the only graha that rules the signs which are adjacent to each other. It rules the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius, which are one after the other. Capricorn is its home sign. Aquarius is its workplace or the Mool Trikon sign. Its workplace is second from its own sign. Therefore, the clear message of Saturn is that it wants you to work towards your family, because this is what we see from the second house. It is the Kutumbha Bhava. So towards the welfare of the family, towards things that you do which are associated towards your family, or towards what you consume, what you eat, your resources and how you share your resources, your wealth. So all about that, and Saturn represents discipline and also work. Someone brings discipline in their work, it definitely perceives to be hard work for other people. Saturn is an extremely slow moving planet. So the sign of Aquarius for Saturn means, if you look at the symbol, it is a man with a big jar of water or a vessel of water. And this man is climbing over the mountain. It is extremely slow. These are the kind of places which are isolated that Saturn loves to be, and it is very comfortable in. Therefore, it is like a slow moving elephant in this sign. We could expect certain delays, we could expect certain changes and transformation, and we must understand how this transit is going to have an impact based on your ascendant sign at the physical level. Now retrograde is not really a bad thing to be. It is very much connected or linked to the karmas or unfulfilled purpose from the previous birth. So it has a very strong karmic connection. Those who have any retrograde planet in their chart, that means they have some unfulfilled purpose from their previous birth, which is related to the lordship of that planet and also the house where it is placed. Now those people who have a natal Saturn retrograde are likely to face most in terms of experiences related to this particular transit. Otherwise, if you have any prominent planets in the sign of Aquarius, in the sign of Leo, in the sign of Aries, in the sign of Scorpio, you're likely to be impacted by this transit. Another interesting aspect is, which no one talks about, which is the real truth about retrograde. Based on Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra that Maharishi Parashar has been teaching to his Shishyas, it is very clearly mentioned that the phenomena of retrogression means the opposite house. That means it activates the house which is opposite to that particular house. So therefore, it means when Saturn is going to go retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, it activates the 7th from that sign of Aquarius, which is Leo. So this means for the next 138 days, Saturn will behave as if it is in the sign of Leo. However, it remains in the house where Aquarius is in your chart. This transit, whether it will be beneficial for you or not, would be dependent on the natal placement of Saturn, and also if you have well disposed Sun or Surya in your chart, you can be highly benefited by this transit. I do not consider Saturn to be bad as far as retrogression is concerned in its Mool Trikona sign of Aquarius. It is giving it additional strength. This is quite a positive transit. This is a very high energetic transit. This is a time to fix some of the decisions that you have taken, some of the mistakes that you have done in the past. Look back at your decision making with regards to your work, with regards to your gains, with regards to your overall ability to influence others, with regards to your karmas in life and what you do on the ground, and try to fix those mistakes and take corrective steps. So this is the time for correction so that you can have a wonderful future ahead. Now we must also understand that for a few days towards the end of June, early July, Saturn is going to go stationary in the sign of Aquarius, and the next stationary period would be around mid of November. These are two phases when Saturn will be extremely powerful, and anyone who has a stationary planet in their chart, they are supposed to be born with a blessing, with a karmic blessing, because this makes the planet extremely powerful. Let's try and understand how Saturn's retrograde transit in the sign of Aquarius is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. At a physical level, you must read this transit from your ascendant sign. In case you wish to read this transit from your moon sign, you can read it, but only at a mental level. In case Saturn is connected to any of the prominent planets in your chart, or if you have planets in any of the signs that I have shared with you, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. Therefore, I expect a large number of people to be impacted by this transit. Let us talk about Aries ascendants and how Saturn's retrograde transit is going to have an impact on Aries ascendants. For Aries, Saturn is an important planet because it becomes the ruler of your karma, the 10th lord, the lord of your work, professions, the kind of actions that you take, what you do to survive in this world, to sustain in this world, and to grow. So in terms of growth, Saturn plays a very important role because it is the 10th lord and the 11th lord, two important Upachaya houses. Saturn rules gains of all kinds, your wider social network, your ability to influence others. Rewards and recognition are also seen from the 11th house. Your overall material world and your purpose of birth is also seen from this particular house. This Saturn is going to go retrograde in your 11th house itself. What are the kind of tips for you? The message that Saturn is giving you during this time is this Saturn is going to behave as if it is the Saturn in the sign of Leo, which is your 5th house. So therefore, it wants you to take some corrective actions, some corrective steps with regards to your workplace related decisions that are going to be promising for you in the near future. Now, when Saturn behaves as if it's in the sign of Leo in your 5th house, during those 138 days, it is an excellent time for you to put your energy, enthusiasm, your commitment and your hard labor, because that is what Saturn represents, in planning, in organizing yourself in order to set your goals. And very clear, smart goals are something that you could set. It is going to be a reflective time. Saturn can also give you some sort of positional success during its retrogression time because it is trying to fix some of the things related to your past life. And in case you already have a retrograde Saturn in your natal chart, or in any way it is connected to your Dasha, Antardasha or any of those planets, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. So it is a lot to do with workplace correction, mending relationships with your friends, or certain decisions that you have taken in the past which you would like to correct or mend certain ties. This is an excellent time for you. You can also go for some educational pursuits during this time because this is also somewhere where Saturn will support you. You must look up to your 5th lord Sun, offer water to the Sun, chant any mantras related to Surya Devata or Sun, which you can be benefited by this transit. Overall, I do consider this retrogression as a good transit for you, and this is the kind of message or tips that I can share with you. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Taurus Ascendants. For Taurus Ascendants, Saturn is an important planet because it is the ruler of your 9th house and the 10th house. Therefore, it becomes a Yoga Karaka, or the most auspicious planet for Taurus Ascendants. It rules Dharma, fortune, long journeys, father figure, your mentor, guru, higher learning. These are some of the significations we see from the 9th house. It is also the ruler of your 10th house. Saturn wants you to work for your family, for those people who you would like to protect, or those people who you love. It is your karmesha. It rules your profession. It rules things that you do to survive yourself, to sustain in this world, your business, job, or any kind of work that you do. Therefore, it is a Yoga Karaka, important planet. This Saturn is going to go retrograde starting 30th of June. So for the second half of the year, most of the time, Saturn will be in a retrograde motion in your 10th house. Now, what does this transit mean? Okay, firstly, your 7th from the 10th house, which is opposite to where Saturn is going to be highly active, which means Saturn will behave as if it's in the sign of Leo, which is your 4th house. So it wants to bring some sort of comfort as far as your workplace scenario is concerned. It wants you to put your labor and all the efforts that you take in order to ensure that you fix your workplace environment, or if you are in an unsatisfactory workplace environment, you make a change. This could be a potentially favorable time for any decisions related to either your home, things that you have to reorganize at your home, or decisions related to your workplace, or some of the organizational skills that you have to demonstrate as far as your workplace is concerned. You could get support from your seniors during this time, from your bosses. So make sure that you reach out to these people. Make sure that you also look after those people who work with you or who are your juniors or team members. So if you're in that authoritative position, make sure that you work towards them. Those people who are likely to move or who are looking forward to moving outside of the home country or their homeland, this could be a potentially favorable time because Saturn is acting for the second half of the year as if it's in the sign of Leo in your 4th house, and therefore it could create favorable circumstances for work opportunities that could be outside of your homeland. So if you have been trying for it, the situation could be promising. Any paperwork that was delayed, now it could move forward. There would still be slowness because Saturn is moving extremely slow, but this is an excellent time for you to declutter your house. Put all your labor, your energy, enthusiasm, and all your work and discipline in organizing your household, in ensuring that the things that you don't need, you either give them, you donate, or you discard those things that are not needed anymore. So, and do it yourself. This is a potential remedy for you during this time. I do not consider Saturn retrograde transit to be bad for you, but these are a few areas as far as certain tips are concerned where you could make the most of it, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Gemini Ascendants and what's happening with Gemini Ascendants as far as Saturn's retrograde transit is concerned. In this video, I'm going to give you simple tips in terms of how to read this transit, how to understand some of the effects and make the most of this transit, because Saturn goes retrograde every year for about 1/3 of its time as far as its transit is concerned. For Gemini Ascendant, Saturn is the ruler of the 8th house and the 9th house. It rules transformation. That is the sign of Capricorn for you. Your Ayush, longevity, hidden places, hidden knowledge or hidden subjects or research related subjects is something which Saturn is keen on. Saturn is also your Bhagyesha or the ruler of the 9th house, which is your fortune, dharma, father or father figure, long journeys, long distance travel, higher education and higher learning is also seen from the 9th house. We see higher education, higher studies from this house. This is one of the most important trinal houses. Therefore, Saturn holds a great position as far as, or a great importance as far as Gemini ascendants are concerned. Now this Saturn is going to make a retrograde transit in your 9th house. So Saturn wants you to look back and see some of the decisions that you have taken with regards to your religion, with regards to your dharma, with regards to your overall purpose, why you are here, and try to fix some of those things. Now, very clearly, based on the principles of Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra, Saturn is really activating the 7th from its position during the retrograde sign. So Saturn is going to behave as if this Saturn is in the sign of Leo in your 3rd house during this time, which is the house of growth, because it is one of the Upachaya Bhavas. This is also the house of change. So any change that triggers, and if this Saturn is making a favorable movement from your moon sign, change is inevitable. This could be a change of place, this could be a change of job, this could be a major decision that you're taking over the next few weeks that could fructify during this transit. So change of all kinds. It also wants you to put your labor and all the hard work, energy and dedication in communicating with others in terms of how you present yourself towards other people. So you might become conscious of your overall appearance or the kind of perception that other people will have. So you need to channelize these energies accordingly. See, be aware of other people's perception, but do not lose focus on your own judgment. You need to trust your own judgment during this time, because you still need to have a lot of self-esteem, you still need to develop self-confidence, and this is something which should be utmost important during this time. We also see siblings from the 3rd house. So this transit could also be a possibility for those who have younger siblings, that they might reach out to you for support, your guidance, and that will be quite good for you if you try and improve the relationship with your siblings during this time. So this Saturn is acting as if it's in sign of Leo in your 3rd house. It is your Bhagyesha, and when Bhagyesha is acting as if it's in your 3rd house in the sign of Leo, you need a mentor during this time, someone who's mature, someone who you could look up to. That person can help you manage and navigate change of any kind during this time, whether it is uncomfortable or whether it is comfortable. There might be some slowness, you might have to put a lot more efforts in terms of what you do, but success is guaranteed if you put efforts, right? This is something which you must remember over the next 6 months. You might have to put in a lot more efforts, you might be juggling with a number of things, multitasking, but stay focused, right, and make efforts your way of life for the next 6 months. You will see some remarkable results towards the later half of this transit. I do not consider this to be bad for you. Consider this as a very progressive transit, as a transit that will open avenues for growth, avenues for success, and for that I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Cancer Ascendants. For Cancer Ascendant, Saturn becomes the ruler of the 7th house and the 8th house. And this Saturn is going to go retrograde in your 8th house itself on 30th of June for about 138 days till mid of November. Saturn for you rules marriage, relationship, partnerships, those people who are opposite to you. 7th house is also called Jaya Bhava. We see love and also war from this house. This house is all about opposition as well, as much as it's about love and harmony. Saturn also rules your 8th house, which is the house of Ayush, longevity, transformation, sudden ups and downs, sudden changes in life. This Saturn is going to go retrograde in the 8th house itself. Saturn is also one of the significator or the Karaka for the 8th house. This is making a Viparita Yoga in transit, and when Saturn is giving you a Viparita Yoga, it is the significator of the 8th house and it is going retrograde in the 8th house. This is a very powerful or a strong Saturn that we are talking about in the transit itself. So as far as opportunities are concerned, there could be a lot of opportunities that could come your way over the next 6 months. Condition, if you work towards it. You do not need to sit back and relax. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to be change ready. You need to be prepared about sudden decisions that could go right, it could go wrong. That would depend on your ongoing dasha, antardasha. This Saturn is behaving as if it is in the sign of Leo in your 2nd house during this time. So if you put in efforts, wealth opportunities are going to be there. So your income will see a rise over the next few months in case your dasha, antardasha is supportive during this time. You need to take care of your family, you need to take support of your family, and you need to spend more time with your family, because Saturn's discipline in terms of 2nd house matters is like that you work towards those people who you love, those who are your family members, whom you can share things with. Saturn will also make you mindful towards storage And from that aspect, I believe that you will be more conscious in terms of saving your finances or building up your finances, maybe for better future decisions. If you were to buy a house in the near future, you might need to save something up. You might make some interesting, long lasting and long term investment related decisions over the next 6 months or so, in case your dasha antardasha is supportive. So a lot of financial management is required during this time. Make sure that you be very conscious about what you eat, what you consume. You might need to bring in a lot of discipline as far as your diet is concerned, because what we feed is also seen from this house or the sign of Leo, where it is placed in your chart. So these are some of the things which you have to be conscious about in order to make the most of this transit. Again, I do not consider this as to be bad. It is a progressive transit. It will open also opportunities for you to have an additional source of income in case you've been trying for it. Put efforts, your hard work and commitment, dedication, your power of labor into all matters related to the second house to gain wealth, and I wish you the very best. Now it's time for Leo Ascendants. So what does Saturn do for Leo Ascendants? Saturn rules your 6th house and the 7th house. This Saturn is going retrograde in your 7th house on 30th of June till 15th of November for about 138 days. Saturn rules daily routines for you, deaths and diseases. Saturn is the ruler of enemies in your chart. It also rules job or growth opportunities, because 6th house is also the Upachaya houses. It indicates how you conquer your enemies, how you defeat your enemies, or how you win over competition. Saturn also rules your 7th house, which is the house of marriage, partnership, those people who are opposite to you, your opposition, how that is seen, harmony in your life. Any kind of business that you do or partnerships are also seen from the 7th house. Any contracts or agreements that you really get into is also seen from this house. People from outside of your home country or those who are opposite to you are also to some extent seen from the 7th house. This Saturn is making a transit in a retrograde motion in your 7th house. Now Saturn gains directional strength in the 7th house, and at the same time it is going retrograde. So from a direction point of view, it is already Bali, it has strength. Now it has additional Cheshta Bal as well. So for the next 138 days starting 30th of June, you might see some slowness initially, but gradually this is a very powerful Saturn. This is a Saturn which is blessing you, because this Saturn is acting as if it's in the sign of Leo in your ascendant, and therefore from a principal point of view it is forming a yoga. Though I would not consider it to be literally in the first house, otherwise it would have been Maran Karak, but from a nature perspective, from a temperament perspective, this is going to bring a lot of changes as far as your overall personality is concerned. It is going to make you more disciplined. It is going to make you more focused towards labor, things that you want to do. You would start working hard and you would love that. You would start loving your work. If you have been having problems with your job or the kind of work that you have or business, you're seeing slow down. Over the next few weeks, you will see things to pick up for good, because this is a very powerful Saturn in transit. I see this as a huge opportunity for you in this 2.5 years of Saturn's stay in the sign of Aquarius, which is not going to come for the next 30 years. So what you do, the kind of efforts that you put in the next 6 months are going to be remarkable for you for the coming years, in case you make the most of it. So firstly, if you have to take some important decisions as far as business is concerned, as far as any kind of agreements is concerned, this could be a potentially favorable time. You might have to look back at your relationships. In case you're married, you might have to take support of your partner. You might need to reach out to them. This will really strengthen your relationship. In case you're not married and you're looking forward to finding a match or finding a partner, this could be a potentially favorable time for you. But overall, Saturn is acting as if it's in your ascendant, it is in your lagna, and it is bringing hard work, discipline, the ability and the power of labor in you. So it is forming a beautiful yoga during this time. In case you have a well disposed sun or Surya in your chart, success is inevitable. Your personality development is inevitable. It will really make you come out in a very strong manner out in the open. If you're looking forward to getting into an authoritative position, any sort of progress as far as job related matters are concerned, or any sort of change, this could be a potentially favorable time for you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Virgo Ascendants and what's happening with Virgo Ascendant as far as Saturn's retrograde transit in the sign of Aquarius is concerned. For Virgos, Saturn rules 5th house and the 6th house, and it is going to go retrograde in the 6th house itself in the sign of Aquarius on 30th of June, and it will stay retrograde till 15th of November for about 138 days. Now for Virgos, Saturn is an important planet because it rules your 5th lord. It is your Mantreshya. It also rules children in your chart, which is connected to your future. So future generation, your future decisions, progress, positional success, authority, any kind of elevation as far as overall status is concerned, we see it from the 5th house. Whether mantras will work for you or not is also something we see from the 5th house. 5th house and its lord plays a very important role in wealth related to future, whether you will have it or not. Saturn also rules your 6th house, which is the house of competition, deaths and diseases. This is the house of different enemies or 6 enemies of the mind, as greed, lust, anger. Now this Saturn is going retrograde in your 6th house. We also see job from the 6th house. So firstly, from a karmic standpoint, it wants you to look back and understand, evaluate some of the decisions that you have taken as far as job related matters are concerned or your overall work is concerned, because Saturn is a natural karmesha, and when it is making a transit in a retrograde motion in your 6th house, in case your dasha antardasha is supportive, it is time for a change. Either you could expect some sort of change at your existing workplace, or you could expect a change in your job. This might also make you move from one place to the other. You might shift bases, moving to a different city or a different state or a different country. This will very much depend on your ongoing dasha antardasha during this time, because this Saturn being retrograde in the 6th house is acting as if it's in the sign of Leo in your 12th house. So it will help you build foreign connections by the power of your labor, your efforts, your dedication, commitment, your ability to stay organized, as far as understanding also your overall self-actualization or higher self-consciousness is concerned. So this is a time for you to reach out to other people that can help you become more self-aware. So in case you work with foreigners, people from other cultures, try to interact, try to learn more about their culture, try to talk about your culture or background as well, and try to become more self-aware. Understand and be receptive of all kinds of feedback, because you will come across maybe a strength or two that you are not aware of but other people are aware of, and these are those areas or spots for you which you will have interesting discoveries during this time in order to understand and assess your overall strengths, and this could be very good for you as far as your future decisions are concerned. This Saturn wants you to focus a lot on your sleep. Getting a good night's sleep will ensure that you're energetic all through the day. You have to take care of your health. So there could be a minor, hospital visit, or from a karmic standpoint. So if you need to get a health checkup or a routine health checkup during this time, make sure that you go for it during this phase. Take care of your overall routine as far as your life is concerned. Remember that Saturn is also one of the significators of the 12th house. So it is acting as if it's a sign of Leo. In case you have a well-disposed sun during this time, it will help you become more self-aware. It will help you understand and uncover your strengths. It will also make you very much giving in nature, very much helpful in nature. You will start helping others. You will start giving donations during this time. And your expenses would be very much control during this time. You would like to focus on saving more and spending less. You would like to keep a check on your impulsive buying decisions that you have taken in the past, learn from those mistakes, and make sure that you save enough finances for your better future during this time. Overall, again, I do not consider this as a bad transit. It is a good one, being retrograde in the sign of Aquarius in your 6th house, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Libra Ascendants and what's happening with Saturn's retrograde transit for Libra Ascendants. Saturn is an important planet and a Yoga Karaka, one of the most favorable planets for Libra Ascendants. It rules your 4th house and your 5th house. 4th house of comforts, your mother, homeland, where you feel most protected, your happy space or your sense of contentment and joy. It is the Sukha Bhava. It also rules your 5th house, which is all about your future, your children, your ability to make progression or have abundant growth opportunities, positional success, king-like success is seen from the 5th house. We also see mantras from the 5th house. We also see corruption or falling down from the 5th house at the same time. Saturn plays a very important role. It is making a retrograde transit in your 5th house itself in the sign of Aquarius. So, the decisions that you have taken in the past, it is time for you to learn from those decisions. Whether these decisions have been good, they have worked for you, and you try and replicate them again during this time, or whether you've had some learnings and you need to make corrective actions or rectify some of your actions related to the decisions, this could be a potentially favorable time to take some corrective actions in place. Now, this Saturn is acting as if it's in your 11th house in the sign of Leo during this 138 days of transit. So, any planet that is making a transit in the 11th house or placed in the 11th house is good. But this Saturn is giving you the effects of this house and this sign. So, firstly, Leo is an inimical sign for it, but that doesn't really matter because it is not literally placed in the sign of Leo. Its dignity is still good. It is in the sign of Aquarius. So, from a sign perspective, it is gaining strength. It is in the 5th house, one of the important trinal houses for you during this transit. It is also gaining Cheshta Bala when it is retrograde, so it gives it additional strength. So, it's a very powerful Saturn during this time. 11th house for you is all about gains, all about material comfort, success. So, for the next 6 months or so, you would love to live in this material world. You would love to do things and expand your influence, increase your social media presence, spend a lot of time with your friends, and try to do things that make you feel happy, that make you feel content in order to gain and spend on material comforts or also material things in life. Now, if you were to spend on those things, your income should rise, your income should increase. We also see Aya or income from the 11th house. So, in case you're expecting a rise in your salary, a new piece of work, or growth opportunities in your business, this could be a potentially favorable time. In case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, in case you have a well disposed Surya or Sun in your chart, and also Venus is supportive during this transit, and also at the same time its natural position in your chart. This could bring you success, rewards, recognitions of all kind, and also support from those people who work for you. Your team members are going to play a very important role. So, in case you're running a business and you have labor working for you, you have people working for you, in case you're leading a team, make sure that you take care of those people. You would also like to stay very organized as far as your workplace related decisions are concerned. But do try to understand those people who are working with you, what is the kind of preference that they have. Do they like to stay organized? Don't come into a situation where you expect people to behave as if you are or as if you want them to behave. Try to respect the differences, understand these differences, and bridge the gap accordingly, because this is a time for you to build credible relationships, the ability to influence others, use the power of your labor in material gains, in making good impression and influencing others, and in order to increase your overall social media presence as well. So, you could very well become an influencer during this time in case your other factors are pretty much supportive during this transit. Gains are inevitable, increase in income is quite promising, quite positive during this time, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Scorpio Ascendants. For Scorpio Ascendants, Saturn becomes the ruler of the 3rd house and the 4th house, and it is making a retrograde transit in the 4th house in the Mool Trikon sign of Aquarius. Saturn for you rules 3rd house, which is the house of valor, efforts, your overall courage. We also see younger siblings from the 3rd house. We see communication from this house. We see the kind of efforts that you put in anything that you do from the 3rd house. This is the house of growth because it is the Upachaya Bhava. Saturn also rules Sukha or happiness, comforts, which is your 4th house, your mother, homeland, those people who you feel very protected with, and those kind of places which are like your comfort space where you feel most protected, happy and content at the same time. This Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your 4th house itself. So, one of the messages that Saturn is giving you is to fix some of those things that you have been doing in the while. In case you have been very busy and losing focus on your personal life, losing focus on work-life balance and your personal interests most importantly, this phase is about bringing back your personal interests. It could be your hobbies, it could be those things which make you feel happy, which make you feel content. Use your power of labor in these things. Use discipline in order to ensure that you strike a balance in terms of what you are at home and what you are outside of the home with other people or those who you work with. Now this Saturn, interestingly, is going to act as if it's in the sign of Leo, which is in your 10th house. So therefore, from a workplace point of view, there could be some breakthrough decisions, there could be some transformation which you could expect over the next 6 months. In case you're expecting growth, in case you're expecting promotion or a change in your work, this could be a change in terms of location, it could be a change in terms of job, it could be a better job, it could be a much high paying job. That will depend on your ongoing dasha antardasha that you're running during this time, but expect some workplace related decisions. In case you've not been working for a long period of time, this period can put you back to work. In case you've taken a break or your job or work has made you redundant, you can expect things to move, things to progress over the next few weeks during this transit. So as far as workplace related matters are concerned, you will also try and discover what your real purpose is and why are you here. What is that you really want to do? You might be in a job that you don't like or something that you don't wish to do. This is the time for you to make a switch, make those decisions and try to do something that makes you feel more happy and content. So a sense of contentment from a karmic standpoint is going to be very important for you, and this will be linked to your workplace. Overall, I do consider this as a favorable and a positive retrograde transit, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Sagittarius Ascendants and how Saturn's retrograde transit is going to have an impact on Sagittarius Ascendants from 30th of June till 15th of November for about 138 days. Saturn for you, or Shani, rules 2nd house and 3rd house, and this is making a retrograde transit in your 3rd house. Saturn for you rules 2nd house, which is the house of storage. This is where you like to store things and share things with those who you love, and that is your family. Therefore, we see family or kutumba from the 2nd house. We also see your speech, your wealth, which you store and of course share with those who you love. We see that from the 2nd house. What you consume, what you eat is also seen from this house. Saturn also rules your 3rd house of valor, courage, the kind of efforts that you take, your younger siblings, the efforts that you make, your hard work, your growth, any sort of change that is coming is seen from the 3rd house. This Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your 3rd house itself. One thing which is guaranteed is change. So change is inevitable during this time. When Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your 3rd house, this could be a remarkable change that Saturn could bring in during this time. Okay, because firstly, it rules change for Sagittarius Ascendants. Secondly, it is making a transit in this house. This is the house where Mars is considered to be the significator from a natural standpoint. Now, when Saturn goes in this house, it is not the most comfortable space for Saturn. Okay, but understand that during retrograde, Saturn's focus is on 7th from its position, and I have explained that in the beginning of this video. And Saturn is behaving as if it is in the sign of Leo in your 9th house. And this is quite a positive transit from that perspective, because it will start making you more conscious and focused about your dharma, about fortune, and you would use the power of labor. And if you demonstrate labor, fortune will favor you. Your decision making would be quite right during this time. You would like to protect your dharma. You would like to spread awareness related to your belief system, your lineage, and if you wish to establish a good relationship or reconnection with your father, guru, any spiritual leader that you have, any mentor that you have, this could be a potentially favorable time for you. You need Guru Upadesha, you need message and blessings of your teacher, mentor or guru during this time. This could be someone who is a mature person, and if you use that advice along with your hard work, success is guaranteed. Change is inevitable, whether it's going to be a good change or a bad change, that will depend on your ongoing dasha, antardasha. This time period can also bring in short as well as long distance journeys during this time. Travel is going to be fruitful in the second half of the year. It could be travel related to work, and if you were to take spiritual journeys during this time or journeys related to your dharma, whoever you believe in, this is going to be most auspicious. Your energy levels are going to be high during this time. Go out there, connect with the nature, take a spiritual tour, go for a leisure trip, and try to make the most of this transit. It is excellent as far as increasing your overall mindfulness is concerned, so that your stress levels are going to come down and you'll be very well prepared for the last leg of Saturn's transit in the sign of Aquarius during this time. Overall, again, I do not see this as a bad transit. It is more of mixed, but there are a lot of positive outcomes that you could expect as far as this transit is concerned, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Capricorn Ascendants. For Capricorn Ascendant, Saturn becomes the ruler of the Lagna Lord. It rules your first house and it rules your second house, the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius. And this Saturn is making a retrograde transit in the sign of Aquarius itself in your second house. Now interestingly, I shared this in the beginning of the video. Capricorn is the home sign of Saturn or own space. Aquarius is the Mool Trikona sign or its workspace, which is second from the sign of Capricorn. Therefore, Saturn loves to work for the family, because we see second house is seen for family and this is what it represents. So it is very important for us to understand, because this Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your second house itself. So from a karmic standpoint, you need to take care of your family. You need to manage the expectations of those who you love or those who you would like to protect, those people who you share your resources, your wealth, your food, and that is family for you. So you need to mend certain ties with them. You need to be very extra cautious in terms of whatever workplace related decisions that you have. It should be taken into account with the best interest of your family. Now from a retrogression point of view, it is important to understand, based on Brihat Prahasha Hora Shastra, Saturn would activate and believe and act as if it is in your 8th house during this time in the sign of Leo, which is opposite to your second house. This is what Saturn would look like. Now Saturn from a natural standpoint is one of the significator of this house. Saturn is in Mool Trikona sign. It is a very powerful Saturn. So this time change is inevitable. There could be a sudden change, be prepared for sudden ups and downs, but at the same time how good or bad this change will be for you would be really dependent on your ongoing dasha antardasha during this time. You're likely to go through a lifestyle change during this time, because if you fix your lifestyle, there's a ray of hope which Saturn is bringing during this time. If you have been facing financial hardships, over the next 3 to 4 weeks starting the end of June, you could see some beneficial results as far as your financial position is concerned, in case your dasha antardasha is supportive during this time. Saturn is going to be making you focused on research related subjects. So if you wish to learn Jyotish, astrology, this is a potentially favorable time for you. Make mindfulness practice a way of life. So you need some spiritual advice. You also need some spiritual practices, yoga, sadhana, meditation. This is going to be extremely helpful for you to deal with any kind of change that you come across with. So from a wealth point of view, your financial position will see a remarkable improvement. Another advice for you would be, if you were to have like a secondary source of income, you must start thinking about it. Have a side hustle. This will help you prepare for any unforeseen events or any unexpected events that you might experience in the near future. Saturn is making a retrograde transit. That's your Lagna Lord making a retrograde transit in the second house. There is a Dhan Yoga that is there during this transit. How this will fructify for you would be dependent on your ongoing dasha and antardasha. But if it is acting as if Saturn is in your 8th house in the sign of Leo, in case you're expecting any inheritance related decisions or any matters towards your family, your in-laws, this could be a potentially favorable time where some paperwork could have some progress. So be prepared for unforeseen events, be prepared for unexpected change, but this change is not going to be bad. It is going to be in the best of your interest, and do see a rise or an improvement in your financial status during this time, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Aquarius Ascendants. For Aquarius Ascendants, Saturn becomes a Lagna Lord. Shani is your Lord of the Ascendant. It rules your first house and it also rules your 12th house, the sign of Aquarius, which is its Mool Trikona sign or the office space, and also the sign of Capricorn, which is its home sign. This Saturn is going retrograde in your first house itself in the sign of Aquarius on 30th of June, and it will be retrograde for about 138 days till 15th of November. This Saturn is retrograde in your ascendant. Saturn rules ascendant. your first house, which is yourself, your body, immunity, vitality, who you are in this world, the decisions that you take. It represents your dhi or buddhi, your intelligence is seen from the first house, your learning is seen from the first house. Saturn also rules your 12th house, your expenses, losses, the ability to help others, the ability to give or donate, your bed comforts, your sleep is also seen from the 12th house, your higher self-consciousness, your ability to understand yourself and your strengths to the best of your capabilities. This Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your ascendant in the sign of Aquarius. Now Saturn is considered Maran Karaka in the ascendant or the first house. However, it is making a transit in its Mool Trikon sign, so I do not expect a lot of decisions related to MKS. So all the while during this transit, Saturn's made you more disciplined, either the easy way or the hard way. This has been inevitable for you. You have become disciplined. Now it is the time for sustenance. This time period, Saturn is going to behave as if it's in your 7th house in the sign of Leo, which is the house of your partnership, marriage, relationship. It would be the focus of the hour during this time for the next few months, because this Saturn would act as if it has directional strength, as if it's in your 7th house, and it will try to expand partnerships, expand your business and relationship with those people who are opposite to you. So in case you're trying to win over other people, in case you're trying to create a good impression, use your power of labor, use your work efforts and your discipline in order to create great impressions on other people. You are likely to have benefit and favors for those who you work with. In case you're looking forward to establishing something new, the next 6 months you could have a new start. Whether this start would be good for you, whether it will be challenging, that will depend on your ongoing Antardasha, Pratyantardasha. However, the great news is you will have a start. You will have the first step towards change. You will try and also, in case you're in a relationship, try to listen to your partner, take their advice, take a collective decision, listen to each other and try to build and strengthen relationship during this time. Those who are looking forward to getting married or finding the right partner, this could be a potentially favorable time for you, because this is what Saturn's acting as if during this transit of retrograde. So it's not a bad one for you. Saturn's extremely powerful in your ascendant. It is going to make your discipline even more strong and long lasting during this time. And for that, I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Pisces Ascendant. For Pisces Ascendant, Saturn becomes the ruler of the 11th house and the 12th house. It rules Capricorn and Aquarius. This Saturn is making a retrograde transit in your 12th house itself in the sign of Aquarius. Saturn rules your 11th house, which is the house of gains, or your income, your material comforts, material wealth, and your friends, your wider social network, your ability to influence others, rewards, incentives, recognition. Also your 12th house of losses, expenditure, your bed comforts, sleep, your higher self-consciousness, the ability to understand yourself, your key strengths, and how you demonstrate yourself as far as to the outer world is concerned. This Saturn is going retrograde in your 12th house itself in the sign of Aquarius. Saturn is considered to be the significator of the 12th house. So it has already made you a lot spiritual, because we see spirituality or moksha from the 12th house. So it has made you more spiritual. It has made you either more God loving. It has also made you well connected with whoever you believe in, the Almighty or the gods that you believe in. It is acting in a very favorable manner all this while in your spiritual practices. Now this Saturn is going retrograde. Now based on the concepts, this Saturn is said to be acting as if it is in the opposite house during retrograde time, which is it is in the sign of Leo in your 6th house. This is how Saturn will behave for 138 days during this time. Now Saturn is also considered to be the significator of the 6th house. So if you've had challenges, if you've had delays of all kinds during this time, if you had setbacks, if you had rejections, if you had failures, this is the time to fix some of these things. The decisions that you took in the past which impacted, you need to look back to those decisions. You need to understand what you learned and take corrective actions, because the decisions that you're likely to take during this time will help you surpass your competition, will help you win over your competition, will help you get a new job or a better opportunity. You might move to a foreign land, or a different country, which is away from where you have been all this while. It will take you some time to settle down, but this time period will make you meet people from different cultures, different background. These people might be speaking a different language. You will have new learnings in place. You will also try and understand more about yourself, your weaknesses, your strengths, and how you can build on your strengths. And in case you're looking for a job change, this could also be a potentially favorable time for you, because Saturn is going to bring in growth opportunities. This could be a challenging or an unsettling time. At a physical level, you might face or feel a bit unsettled, but then this is for a greater good. Whenever there is change, whenever there is something new that comes, we need to commit to that change. We need to give some time in order to evolve with this change, in order to adapt to this change. And these are the kind of experiences that you will have during this time. So it is not a bad transit at all. It is going to bring in more opportunities. In case you had delays in paperwork, this time period is going to fix all of those things. Focus on your job, focus on your daily routine. You have to bring in a lot of discipline. Another remedy for you could be to set up your house, make sure that you declutter, you take care of your things, and of course you discard or donate, give away those things that you don't need. Help other people. Donate to the best of your capacity during this time to those who need. Particularly if you do this for hospitals, any kind of welfare, this could be a potentially favorable time for you, and Saturn may work in favor. In case your natal Saturn is strong, you would likely do more donations during this time, and I wish you the very best. So this is about Saturn's retrograde transit in the sign of Aquarius, which will be between 30th of June till 15th of November. In the next part of this video, I'm going to be talking about detailed predictions for all 12 ascendant signs, and I'm going to again do it in a very interesting manner. This video was about tips. I hope and believe Saturn's retrograde transit in the sign of Aquarius helps us live in this world, take the right actions, take the right steps, build relationship with other people, and also make our workplace progressive in terms of our future prospects, and may that rise and shine. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you very much. God bless you all.